Weekend of action. We'll have Nandi Shabalala a little bit later taking a look at all the sports news.
Indeed, but first let's start here. First, concerns are currently mounting that too many people are not getting vaccinated or even returning for their second jabs, and among them being KwaZulu Natal Premier Sihle Zikalala. Some have gone as far as to say that incentives must be given to encourage people to get the jab. But now, Business Unity South Africa has been very vocal about the need to make vaccines mandatory. So let's discuss this right now with the organization's Cas Coovadia, who joins me now this morning. Cas, always a pleasure to have you right in the SA Morning. Good morning to you. We've had this conversation before, we're having it again, but this time you are calling for much more tougher, vaccine measures. You've been criticized heavily about this as business. I'm sure you've seen some of the criticism around, obviously, having your business premises protected, employees protected, that being the advice you're given to entrepreneurs, to businesses as well. But some saying, is this really necessary? Your view?
Thanks for having me. Look, I think that what we are basically saying is let's follow the science. We can get into all sorts of debates on this, but at the end of the day, this is a health issue that's having a significant impact on people's lives and on the economy. And so let's listen to the health experts, if you like. I don't think anybody can debate the fact that getting as many people vaccinated as possible, as quickly as possible, puts us in a very good position to ensure that even those who are infected by this virus do not get seriously ill, do not put undue pressure on our health system, and we can, over a period of time, get back to some semblance of normality in our lives. And I don't think there should be a debate about that, because the science shows that. What we are saying is that let's shift the debate from whether we should be vaccinated or not,
right,
to saying that we need to get as many of our people vaccinated as quickly as possible, and to ensure that we enable a situation where we get back to a semblance of normality, but on the basis that people are vaccinated.
Right. Okay. If I could just jump in there. I mean, you spoke about science, which is what, all of us, I assume, should be looking at, evidence-based, scientific and evidence-based information from our experts. However, you can't deny, I can't deny the fact that fake news continues to peddle. We read quite, in my opinion, a very disturbing tweet from one of our viewers saying that they don't want the jab because they don't want AIDS in it. So this is some of the, information that's been peddled out there, that if you get the jab, you get AIDS. For me, it just took me back to the 80s when we're just starting out with, getting into HIV and AIDS in the country and doing more, health investigations. How much of fake news will deter people from, of course, getting vaccinated?
Yeah, so look, I think that there is a danger that could deter people, but we in my view, we have one of two choices in that regard. Either we take tweeters like those, for instance, head on and get into a debate. I don't think that's very useful. I think the best way to deal with that is to, one, communicate far more effectively on what science really says and get, well-known medical people like Prof. Karim, like Glenda Gray, like others, get them to speak consistently to the public. And put out the correct message. And I think that's the way to go about it. I think that in the last couple of weeks, the momentum has shifted towards some sort of mandatory vaccinations, towards the debate has shifted to actually saying that we need to get as many people vaccinated as possible. I think Omicron has sort of raised the stakes a little bit. Vaccinations since Omicron came onto the scene are beginning to increase again. Daily vaccinations are beginning to increase. I think what some of the businesses have done, so Discovery has also already indicated that they moved from about 70% of employees vaccinated to now 94% after they announced the intention of having some sort of mandatory vaccination.
Yeah.
I know some of the legal firms indicated to me that they've moved from 60% to 97% vaccinated after they indicated that businesses are increasingly announcing that they will apply some form of mandatory vaccination from next year. So I think that that tide is shifting, and we're not saying that we need to force people to vaccinate, but what we are saying is that if you want to get back to some normality in your life, you're going to have to vaccinate.
Right. I know with that being said, you just highlighted businesses, Cas, if I may, because we have less than a minute with you now. You've just mentioned some of the businesses which have, rolled out those mandatory vaccines in their organizations, but also I know you're calling for churches as well to come to party and become vaccination sites.
Yeah, we're calling on all sectors of society to do that because one of the spreaders of this vaccine are indoor events that have greater numbers and increasing numbers. We are saying that if we want to increase numbers, so if churches want to increase numbers, then firstly we need to make a call on that depending on, for instance, how Omicron does. But what the opportunity is there for us to ensure that if we vaccinate, we can then slowly begin to actually get back to normality, be it in churches, be it in mosques, be it in businesses, be it at sports events. And that's the debate, and that's the whole idea. So, we don't want to create an unnecessary debate on this. So all we're saying is that follow the science, both from an economic and a human point of view. It makes sense to get vaccinated.
And with that being said, we'll leave our conversation there. Cas Coovadia, thank you so much for availing yourself to us. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Well, vaccine hesitancy doesn't seem to be the problem. The issue is